Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, back again with Attack on Titan. Last time on Attack on Titan, we had First Battle, the Struggle for Trost Part 1, where, continuing on where the last episode left off, the Colossal Titan emerged at Trost, and they started fighting. It was pretty intense. The new soldiers, including Eren and Armin, they had had some troubles, let's just say. They definitely had some troubles with their first true battle with the Titans. Including Eren got his leg bitten off. He lost his leg. And then Armin was about to be swallowed by a Titan. And then... but Eren was able to save him, got him out. But then Eren got eaten, and he lost his left arm in the process, and now he has been swallowed. He's missing an arm. He's missing a leg. It was episode 5. It was just a whole ordeal. And, yeah, obviously I feel like we're going to have to figure out how to get Eren out of the belly of a Titan. And, yeah. Yeah. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever, and also if you want to watch my reaction to this episode of Attack on Titan, you're going to have to go down in the description or to the pinned comment, and there'll be a link there. It's completely free of charge. You just go, click that, and you can just watch the reaction pretty much like a normal reaction. Yeah, you just gotta do that. I gotta do this because of copyright issues that I've had on Attack on Titan. So, go, do that, enjoy it hopefully. And when you're done with that, you can pop back over to this video and watch the discussion for this episode, which I always encourage that you watch the discussion. I suppose you don't have to, but I'd like it. So, yeah. That's pretty much that. We should go ahead and get right into this episode of Attack on Titan. Here we go. You know... I don't. I was gonna say a thing, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like... I don't know. I do not know. Wow. So Eren was kind of always fucked up a little. Like, I like just down to, you know, when they first arrived there, before they found out what happened, and it's just like, oh, if she's nice to me, then there won't be a problem, Dad. It's like, would you relax? For God's sake, you're like 12. Would you just chill? Ugh. And then he stabbed the one guy. He fashioned a spear. Then started to kill the other guy. Then convinced her to kill the third guy. You know, when Armin is like, you know, oh, I want to stand strong, shoulder to shoulder with you guys. I want to be like you guys. Like, motherfucker, I don't think you do. I don't think you do. Because the two of them are kind of fucked up. They are. And what's interesting is how this has affected the two of them, because they are not carbon copies of each other. They are not carbon copies of each other. That's the other thing. Like, the two of them have been through what seems like the exact same thing, but have come out as two very different people, you know? Now, granted, they do share some of the same ideals, But at the same time, they are so different, you know? Man, you get 30 seconds of happy baby Mikasa before that just goes to hell. You don't even get happy baby Eren. He was always just kind of the same. He was always kind of that way, which begs the question, what happened to him that drove him to be like this, you know? Because, like, it seems like he's always been like this. Like, do we need, like, another origin for him? I'll try not to slam those down because it's really going to catch on the microphone if I do that, so. I don't know why it's episode 6 that's really, like, killing me here with how sad and depressing it. Like, I guess, okay, it was the ending. Okay, here's one thing, though. The ending, with her flying around and, you know, saying, like, you know, as long as you're in my life, you know, we won't give up the fight and stuff like. It's kind of a hopeful feeling. I will say, like, I feel like they were trying to make that a bit more of a hopeful feeling after the depressing shit you just watched. But at the same time, you know something is wrong. It's not exactly hopeful when she's, you know, saying that at the end. Because we know that Eren has lost an arm and a leg and has been swallowed by a Titan. And he's gone. He's gone. Like, that was like hours later, and that Titan is long gone now. Now, I could still see the okay, obviously, we all know Eren's still alive. I mean, look at the friggin' Blu-ray. He's the main character. He's the main character. He is front and center on the cover of the Blu-ray. You know? So I feel like we all know Eren is still alive. Let's just all be honest. We all know Eren's still alive. But they do make a solid case for the fact that he's dead. They do make a solid case for he's dead. Because he lost an arm and a leg. He's probably bleeding profusely. And he was swallowed by a Titan hours ago. Okay, maybe we'll be a bit stingy with the time. Let's say it's been half an hour. Half an hour, that Titan left Armin there to just, you know, sit in fear and terror and sorrow. So we'll be a bit stingy. We'll say half an hour has passed since the last episode. Still, Eren has been inside of a Titan for half an hour. Now, Eren's a very clever boy, so you could say, and I think they're gonna have to do this, where Eren, like, maybe before he hit, you know, the stomach acid literal stomach acid. Before that, he, struck into the intestines and then just, made his way out. I don't know where he's getting the air from, but, maybe he got his way out and he's just sort of chilling out for a little bit. I'm sure they're going to have to pull that, but they make a strong case that he's actually dead. So, yeah. And there is no progress on that. There's no progress on if he is alive or not in this episode. And instead, we get, after everything with, all the fresh-faced recruits go into battle for the first time, and shit goes wrong. So wrong. And then the show is like, okay, don't worry. We're going to give you a rest from that. All this, horrible loss and some of these characters you've come to know and they're dead, We're gonna give you a little bit of a break from that. And you're like, okay, well, what are we going to cut to instead? We are going to cut to Mikasa's origins, which is some of the saddest, darkest crap I've ever seen. Watching... because, okay, again, showing baby Eren, it's kind of weird because he's like, oh, he was always like that. Little shit. He was always kind of like that, It's like, well, okay, well, that's kind of interesting. It's like, well, he was always like that, I guess. So that's one thing. Seeing that. Oh, he was always like that. Okay, interesting. But to watch the innocence get stripped away from this little girl is so sad. Just on multiple levels. And it had jack all to do with the Titans as well. It had jack all to do with the Titans. This was because this was humans being horrible. This had jack all to do with our main villains. This was just some other thing. And just to watch this girl's innocence get taken from her, Ugh. To watch this girl's innocence get taken from her. And especially, too, I don't know if this makes it sadder or not, but because we know how she turned out, because we know she is, sort of a, because we've gotten her personality from these 6 episodes, and it's like, oh, well, she's seen some shit, But she's quiet. She's, reserved. She kind of... I don't want to say she's, brooding, but, I mean, I guess to an extent. But, we've seen her over these 6 episodes. And then to go back... Then we go back and see happy baby Mikasa. Happy baby Mikasa. And to watch that happiness, that innocence just get torn away from her. As both of her parents die in front of her. And Eren pushes her to kill the other guy. That's the icing on the cake, Icing on the shit cake. Is that not only did she watch her parents die... This honestly makes her worse. This makes it worse than what happened to Eren. Because for Eren, yes, he had to watch his mother die at the hands and the mouth of a Titan. And that's horrible, And it traumatized him. But for Mikasa, she watched both of her parents die. Same amount of darkness as with the Titans, but it was humans. That same darkness exists in humans. Which, again, has been established, mind you. Has been established in the show. But for her to first see this, this darkness that is mainly attributed to the Titans, to watch that same darkness in humanity, in humans, to watch both of her parents die at human hands, and then, starting to sound like a preacher, and then, for Eren to push her to kill that man. It's almost like Eren has, put all of his crap on her now. At her most vulnerable moment, what she got was the philosophy and the mindset of Eren Yeager of all people, At her most vulnerable moment, what filled her mind, let's be specific, what filled her mind is the thought process and philosophy of Eren Yeager, and that finished off her transformation into the Mikasa that we know. That may honestly be the saddest part. It is worse than anything else, because you could say this is kind of a Batman origin, honestly. It's her parents were killed by, people and stuff, and then, she becomes all dark and brooding and, a Batman. But no, it's not just that. It is it's the twisting of the knife. It's the twisting of the knife in her heart. It's that these men drove a knife into her heart, and Eren twisted it and said, "This is good for you." That may be the worst part of it. Honestly. That the Mikasa that we know was created not just because of the darkness, the darkness in these men, but also because of Eren. It's because of Eren that she is the way she is, It's it's almost like Eren had as much to do with removing Mikasa's innocence as those men did. Honestly, Now, that said, she is still a bit more functional than Eren, I feel like. I feel like maybe she's a bit more functional than Eren is. I don't know, she took it better. She even, even though it's it removed her innocence, she honestly holds up a little bit better. Of all of them, she kind of holds up the best, Because even, with Eren, or with, we go back a couple episodes, let's say Annie, Honestly, Mikasa still holds up better than anyone. And she's probably had it the worst. But she may have come out the best, I don't know. This is kind of dusty. So, you probably noticed when I moved the Blu-ray, I hold the Blu-ray up with my Doctor Who mug. So, hold on. I'm going to clean it real quick. I haven't used this as an actual mug in a while. Should be good. Well, there was not a lot left, actually. I probably could have gotten 3 more shots out of that, but So, that is Mikasa's origin. Maybe one of the saddest things I've seen in a while. Watching this girl lose her innocence in multiple ways. Not just from those men, but also from Eren. Eren, who apparently never had any innocence. You know? Which, we have to also say, this kind of is also highlighted by the fact that Armin lost his innocence kind of in this one, you know? In this episode, you know? With Eren, it's like he's pretty much lost his innocence, you feel like, you know? And I'm done. I didn't plan that out. I did not plan that out very well. You know what? I've got water. I keep drinking. I'm drinking water and a Pepsi, you know? I keep being all dramatic and drinking and taking shots in this stuff, and it's like, you know what I'm drinking? I'm not even drinking alcoholic stuff. I don't know. This is just what I do, apparently. Get this crap out of here. Hold up. Trying to get the water out of the straw. Close enough. We'll just set that there. Now I have water. So, yeah. So, Armin has kind of lost his innocence as well. Armin's kind of lost his innocence as well. He wants to be strong like Eren and Mikasa. I don't think you want to be like the two of them. If you were going to be like either of them, maybe Mikasa, honestly. I don't know. To actually clean this thing sometime. But yeah. We had loss. Man, you so quickly establish a connection where they so quickly make a connection where, you know, you have in the last episode. Was it last episode? It might have been the episode before, actually. Yeah, it was in episode 4 when, you know, like, oh, they're all, you know, kind of graduating and stuff, and then, you know, Eren, I don't even know, Eren gets onto them for some shit, and it's like, oh, well, they're like a couple, and it's like, oh, well, okay, that's, you know, cool, whatever. And then immediately in this episode, it's like, he's fucking dead. He's just dead, and you're like, well, damn, you know? It's like, I didn't make much of a connection, but it's like, oh, well, they're a couple. And I was like, oh, okay, they're a couple. And I was like, well, he's dead. It's like, well, shit. Like, well, there goes that connection, if I had any. It's like, I didn't have much of a connection, but still. I'm dripping on the tablecloth. Let me set that there. We had the abnormal. That was interesting. The abnormal Titan, which he didn't give two shits about any of them. He was just running around like a madman, you know? So that was interesting. There actually are different classifications, you know, just within the smaller Titans, so that was kind of interesting. We had the wagon, that fucker. We don't even know what he was hauling. It was just something, it's worth more than you'll ever make, than any of you will ever make. And I was like, what the fuck, you? Just open the thing. We're all trying to get through. So I did like Mikasa going in and intimidating and getting everyone through. And she was like the superhero to that little girl. Hope that little girl doesn't lose her innocence. Or at least not in the same way. Jeez. I mean, there's always, I guess, you know, everyone, I guess, has to go through a loss of innocence at some point, but fucking still. And then the rest was just the origin, which, again, it was kind of hopeful at the end, even though, yeah, it is, you know, some of the saddest shit I've ever seen in my life, just watching this girl's innocence just die at so many people's hands. But I guess it was a little hopeful at the end, you know, oh, as long as you're in my life, I can, you know, I will always, you know, fight and stuff. Like, I was like, I guess this is hopeful. I don't know. Eren's fucking dead, though. I mean, we all know he's not, but I mean, it's like, you know, he's kind of fucking dead right now. She didn't even know. So I guess it's hopeful. And again, it's like, you know, if you want to talk about, you know, someone who's lost their innocence, honestly, Mikasa's probably, you know, she kind of took it like a champ, you know? Like, honestly, if you told me... Well, they did. They told me what happened to her when she was young. And, you know, I'm looking at Mikasa. It's like, oh, I guess she turned out all right. You know, she's kind of, you know, she's kind of somber. You know, pretty quiet. You know, she's like the one guy says, she's very nonchalant about some of this dark shit. But if anything, I feel like she, at the very least, she's come out of this better than Eren. You know? Eren is all sorts of fucked up. She's at least, like, internally fucked up, and, like, she presents herself better. Eren is fucked up, and he will make sure everyone knows it, you know? Which is kind of what happened to Mikasa. I don't know. I will be kind of interested to hear comments on this one, I guess. Because, yeah, I don't know, like, what people think of, like, that origin. But I honestly think that, Eren is just as much responsible, which I guess, okay, yes, technically, but what those guys did, yes, is worse. They killed her parents, and then, he was just saying, oh, you gotta fight and stuff like that. It's like, I still think, he is responsible, even partly, for, the death of Mikasa's innocence. But you also have to think, well, she kind of is too, But I feel like that is all, his words and stuff getting to her at her most vulnerable moment. And then, her realizing, through his words, like, oh, I've always looked the other way, but this world is cruel and I have to keep fighting, and stuff. But that's honestly, you could make the argument that that's all him getting into her mind at that moment, So, I don't know. This was intense, and next week I'm sure we'll get into another intense, depressing episode. Some of you guys have said that this is a normal thing that happens on these reactions, so I'm not calling anyone out, but sometimes I get comments where people will say like, oh, I can't believe you're only doing this one a week. That must drive you crazy. And I actually kind of like doing these once a week. It gives me something to look forward to, and it's honestly kind of nice to do this once a week. But I have to say, maybe I'm a little glad that I'm only doing Attack on Titan once a week, because Jesus, this is a downer. This is such a downer. Like, and I guess again there was a bit of a hopeful moment at the end, but good Lord, I don't know if I could take more than one episode of this a week. And again, this show is great. I really love this show, but holy Toledo, I do sort of need that week to, like, step away from it a bit, Alright, that's it. That's pretty much it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Attack on Titan videos, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.